Wait, am I actually live, or is this fucking with me? Am I on? Oh, is Twitch finally deciding not to be a bastard? You can hear me, but can you see me is the question. But you can't see me, of course. Of course. Because why? Why would Twitch want my stream to go smoothly tonight? Oh, great. Okay, I can hear me, but can't see me. Awesome. Well, fuck me, right? Is anyone else out there? Can you hear me or see me, or one or neither, or anything, really? Today's just not been my day, let me tell you. Let me tell you, it's just not been my day today.
Davey scores.
Holy shit. Chaos Heavy is now part of the crew. Thank you for the follow. Can you see me? Can you hear me? What is up? I'm going to wait to play this video until I know that people can hear me and see me. On my end, everything looks great. But Ninja Jez said they can't see me, but they can hear me. And I think they were refreshing to see if that fixes anything. So Chaos, thank you for the follow. I'm glad you can see me and hear me. What up, homie? Thanks once again. I promise usually my streams are not this much of a clusterfuck. I don't know what's going on tonight, to be honest. I really don't. I'm hoping the people that were here before come back. But if not, I'll go ahead and resume my video. I'm just going to give it a couple minutes here first. Because, you know, they were here with me for like an hour before this went to shit. And I'm not sure why. I'm not sure what happened. I reset my modem. I'm hoping that fixes the issue. Alright, so I think we're good for now. I think. Thank you, Ninja Jez. Thank you for sticking around. Thank you, Chaos Heavy, for coming in and hitting me with that follow. We'll go ahead and just get things going.
On the 24th of May, 2001, the wedding of Karen and Asaf Dror was taking place in Jerusalem, Israel. Everything appeared to be going well, and the crowd seemed to be having a good time. At around 10:45 p.m.,
they won't be having a good
however,
time for much longer.
The event would rapidly devolve into a nightmare. Around that time, the floor would suddenly give out, resulting in a 3-story fall for those that were in attendance. The entire catastrophe was captured on video.
That would be fucking horrible. But you can tell there's way too many people in there. Fuck. Man, that's rough to watch every time.
"23 people died that night, and over 380 suffered from non-fatal injuries. One of those affected was the bride themselves, who suffered a pelvic injury that required corrective medical attention. After investigations into this ramped up, it was eventually determined that the accident was caused by insufficient building materials and negligence during construction. It was allegedly built using a relatively new method at the time called Palcal, invented by a man named Eli Ron.
Yeah, that's fucking wild.
It, by all accounts, serves as a cost saver and utilizes thin steel sheets sandwiched between concrete layers. The building supposedly was also designed to be a 2-story structure, with the 3rd floor being added later on. Put 2 and 2 together, and you can see why calling this structure a hazard would be an understatement.
Right.
As if the story wasn't strange enough already, the 3 owners of the wedding hall, the construction managers, and even Eli
At least the
Ron,
cake survived.
yes, the inventor of the Palcal method himself, were charged with varying degrees of manslaughter and underwent various prison sentences. All of these were less than 4 years long. In a statement given by the father of the bride afterwards, they claimed, "I give the 4 of them 400 years in prison. Had they been pardoned, it would be 300
Holy
years,
shit.
so they have no chance to see daylight."
That's that's why the moral of the story, don't get married, folks. It took me a couple times to learn that.
Leading up to the fall, a song named "I Have a Golden Heart" by Sadi Haddad was playing, much to the crowd's delight. However, since this event, she's never performed it again.
Oh, I
The
bet.
Versailles wedding hall disaster has gone down as one of the country's worst building catastrophes in recent history, and the now vacant sites will forever stand as a reminder of the tragic events that played out that late summer night.
Damn. That brings new meaning to Wedding Crasher.
As we've seen tonight, if you look hard enough within this vast digital ocean, you just might find things that are dark, eerie, and incredibly distressing.
A death orgy,
Tonight,
210 kicks.
You and I have explored 5 disturbing
That's a queer
things
goth
from
band.
around the
Are they
internet.
queer?
I hope you enjoyed this, and if you have any recommendations for smaller online oddities that can fit into a future compilation, please send your suggestion to my new email inbox made specifically for this series, dtfaisubmissions@gmail.com.
DTF AI, down
I
to
look
fuck
forward to keeping this series
with AI, huh?
going for many years to come.
Oh, disturbing things from around
With
the
that
internet.
being said,
I got it. Okay.
Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. I love you all.
You missed all the fun 210
And good
kicks
night.
where my stream crashed like 2 or 3 times. Getting that Keegan Squirrel curse happening to me. See, the only orgy song I knew was that that Blue Monday cover.
Let's
So
draw
I
us
think
up
we
in here.
left off on 13. Alright, yeah, here we go. Hopefully the stream stays up and running like this. Yeah, I had to reset my modem, Baba Booey. I'm hoping that fixed the problem. Stitches. Yeah, I don't know. I never was big on the band Orgy, which is weird because I got the heart back in the day. Autophobia. Hey, I appreciate you showing love, 210. I hope you sleep well. You've been killing it with your mod duties for Keegan the Creep. I'm sure you need the rest.
What do you do when you find yourself staring into a space?
Yeah, I don't think Keegan will end.
Yet terrifying.
The fear of being alone.
It's a phenomenon that's gained widespread attention in the past couple years due to the nature of our ever-evolving world. Things are changing, closing, being forgotten, and in their wake are derelict spaces that evoke a nostalgic comfort, yet our brains seem to strangely reject them. We feel like we've been there. We associate memories with images that we've never before seen. And for some reason,
That's true.
we become stuck in this trance of eerie fascination.
I look
This
at pictures like
sensation
this
is
all the
caused by
time. He's not
liminality,
lying.
a term deriving from the word liminal, meaning something that's occupying a position at, or on both sides of, a boundary or threshold. Something that is within transition. With widespread interest catalyzed by subreddits, forums, and social media, the internet has served as a vehicle for sharing pictures of liminal spaces with others. This has effectively paved the path for various forms of media and online storytelling to capitalize on it, resulting in a myriad of personal stories, creepypastas, and indie games to play on the uncanniness that comes with them.
You know, I have a theory about this. I'm going to get
Contrary
into it
to
when
this
this is
relatively
done.
recent rise in online popularity, though, liminal spaces are nothing new. In fact, the concept of liminality has always existed among us. We've just never really noticed it.
I hope your mom's doing alright, Sabby. Hopefully everything's running smoothly now. I reset my modem, and everything seems to be okay after that. Fingers crossed. He's talking about liminal spaces right now, which I find fascinating.
What is it about source maps that unnerve us? Is it the feeling of loneliness? The emptiness that comes with the very purpose of a landscape? Or is it perhaps the fact that we can hear the sounds of other humans carrying out their lives in the distance, yet in our eyes, we're the only ones here? It's a funny feeling that, a feeling of confused anticipation as we await people that will never come. Contrary to the evidence around us, buildings, furniture within a cozy apartment, beer in the fridge, nobody ever will. Throughout the late 90s and into the 2000s, video games were playing on the trope of liminal spaces without even knowing it. Gary's Mod and Silent Hill are two that come to mind immediately, and while Gmod was more of an accidental case, Silent Hill was a bit more on the nose. Everything about it is interwoven with the very
There's a
fabric
huge
of
water
what makes
park I'd
liminal
pass every
spaces
time I
so
went from
creepy
Las
to
Vegas
us.
that was abandoned. That always scared me.
Isolation is always
Yeah,
the
like,
forefront, with the player being left to explore
and I'm
a
going to give
town
my theory
that is
on that.
years past its time. Hospitals, foggy streets, a theme park, a subway system, and even an apartment that you're unable to leave. Every single game is stuck in a bizarre state of transition. Nothing is bustling and alive anymore, but you sure as hell aren't in this place alone. No Players Online is a 2019 indie horror game that takes this notion and cranks it up to 10. Everything about it is liminal. We expect the game to be littered with other players. We have the overwhelming sentiment that the space we're currently exploring was, at one time, the home to thousands of multiplayer matches. Yet, we're alone. No players are online, but us. And I think this is where most of the lingering dread of a liminal space stems from. The anticipation, the expectation that someone else should be around, as is life. Yet there isn't. It's the foundational rejection of loneliness that's hardwired into our brains, and when this loneliness is portrayed through art and even photos of reality, that is where the uncanniness sets in. You know, autophobia is something inexplicably and terrifyingly unique, and you never really know it until you're in it. At school after hours, at a hotel pool when no one's around, the very last one in a shopping mall. There are so many cases for situations like this, and the beauty of the internet is that we're able to share pictures and stories of spaces that terrify us together. Whether it's through gaming or reality, liminal spaces and their play on our natural fear of loneliness are terrifying. And regardless if we ever figure out why they're so eerie, it's irrefutable that they'll always persist in the dark depths of the internet. There's something of a reminder, a memento, a lens into a world that is and will always be nothing but a burning, fading, and ever so distant memory.
What the fuck? So before I get into this next segment, my theory on the liminal spaces, okay, is... So this might just be my own personal fear, but... You know, I'm like 36 years old. I'm going to be 37 in July. And, you know, it's getting to that age where I feel like my youth is fading away. Like it's dying before my very eyes. And part of that is, like, for instance, I live close to this movie theater where I used to go when I was a kid. And it's been closed for years, like probably over a decade. Probably like maybe 20 years almost at this point. And so a liminal space, Sabby, is, I don't know if you're watching, I don't know if you're in here for any of that segment, but like he's talking about, like, there's this phenomenon across the internet, like, of pictures of like abandoned malls or abandoned theme parks, like just a very empty, lonely looking area. There's also video games he was showing, which you're like the only person wandering around with nobody around. And I find myself like very fascinated. Like, I'll get on Facebook, I follow certain pages, and I look at these pictures of, like, you know, especially abandoned malls, abandoned movie theaters. You might see me use abandoned movie theaters for some of my flyer promos for my channel a lot, actually. And like I was saying, you know, being like in my like mid, almost upper 30s now, like there's this sense of dread that I struggle with, that my youth, like the best years of my life, are behind me. You know, they're fading away. And part of that, like I said, this movie theater that I used to go to as a kid has been closed for a long time. And it recently, like within the last month or something, got demolished. Like, there's like just nothing where it used to be. And, you know, like, it just hits, like, I think that's why some people are drawn to these liminal spaces, these pictures of like abandoned malls. Because I used to hang out at the mall all the time. I used to hang out at arcades. I used to go to the movies all the time when I was a kid. And, like, a lot of that stuff doesn't happen anymore. The only shopping mall around where I live is slowly being taken over by a hospital. Like, a hospital came out and bought like half this mall. Like, half of it's a mall and half of it's a hospital, which is really weird. But like, as the more years pass by, like, this hospital's taking over more spots of this mall, and eventually it's just going to be a hospital, and there's going to be no more mall. Yeah, and like Mr. Twister said, the mall he used to chill at is gone now. It's demolished. So I think why this liminal space trend and like this vaporwave, all this kind of stuff, you know, there's, first of all, it's very nostalgic. Like, it takes you back to those days as a child where you would do these things. Like, I'd hang out at the mall with my friends all day. And yeah, it's like Baba Booey said, it's a reminder of impending doom and loneliness in the infinite realms of the twilight. Very, very, very cold way to put it, but yes, essentially yes. And like, we try to hold on, I think, well, me personally, I try to hold on to like those memories and, you know, kind of the mental state I was in back then. Like, one of my best memories is when I was a kid. I think it was like my 10th birthday party. Yeah, that would have been about 1996. My mom and dad threw a birthday party for me at a place called Aladdin's Castle at this mall. it was an arcade, and it was like fucking amazing. Like I got like all these tokens, you know, like pretty much free play on any machine there. All my friends were there to play with me. Like just a great memory. And you don't really see arcades anymore. You don't really see shopping malls anymore. And I think the next to go is going to be movie theaters, sadly. You know, with streaming being such a big thing. COVID really, I'm surprised movie theaters stuck around through the pandemic, to be honest. And they don't seem to be doing so hot. Every time I go to the movies, there's hardly anyone there. I don't know, I did see John Wick like 3 weeks after it came out and the theater was full, so maybe there is hope. Mr. Twister, I just watched a 77-year-old Debbie Harry do Blondie songs live. If that wasn't a reminder of the grim specter of death, I don't know what is. Yeah, phew. You know, she's got a heart of glass, though, so you never know. Yeah, and you know, that's... Like, they overcharge for the popcorn and the snacks, and I understand why they do, because they don't make shit off ticket sales. But yeah, they're gonna have to do something to keep going. Yeah. Plus the chairs, like get some more comfortable chairs as well. And streaming is more convenient. You know, you can pause the movie, get up and piss. You don't have to miss anything. You don't have to. You know, you can get up, grab a snack, do whatever. Like I understand why streaming is appealing to so many people, but that movie theater experience has always just been something magical about it to me. And it's going to be sad when I'm an old man sitting in my rocking chair going, you know, we used to go to buildings to watch these movies on a large screen and pay $20 for popcorn. And, you know, they'll be like, sure, whatever, Gramps. But anyways, that's what I think the liminal space trend is all about, is just people trying to hold on to something that's fading away. And, you know, there is a lot of dread. There is a lot of fear in that. You know, I'm 36. Like I said, I'm 36. Every relationship I've attempted has crashed and burned. And it seems more and more as the years go by, it's very likely I'm going to die alone. And that's a scary thought sometimes. And that's kind of, you know, the liminal space of just wandering around an empty building or what have you with no one around kind of reflects on that, I think. But anyway, that's my theory on it. Let's get into oddities on Channel 5, shall we? And I miss the drive-in movies too, Baba Booey.
It's late at night. You're cozied up in your room watching creepy YouTube videos.
It is very creepy, Mr. Twister.
There are seemingly endless, but there is one channel that I'd like to highlight tonight. It's called Fluorescent Dreams, and at first glance of their channel, we can notice the absurdity with their thumbnails. Their content is just as cryptic and heavily resembles various ARGs that we've encountered in videos past.
This is interesting already.
It's in Spanish, but that doesn't discount how strange it is. At the end of the day, though, you might be wondering, why are we talking about this tonight? In the midst of scouring for topics to cover, I was sent an email by a person named Joshua. A link to this channel and their explanation of it states the following. After Spanish cartoons broadcasted in Mexico, there used to be a PSA showing missing people with their pictures and info on their last known whereabouts. One girl that showed up consistently was named Celine Delgado, and her only picture was of very poor quality, eerie, and her features were very vague. The actual video's in Spanish, but from what I understand, they suggest that she doesn't actually exist and was artificially made specifically to appear unsettling so people would better remember the broadcast.
Celine Delgado.
Interesting. The video in question was uploaded on September 2nd of this year and is titled Cinética del Patrón, Celine Delgado. Let's have a look.
Evento. Selene Delgado. Selene Delgado es un patrón de rostros artificiales.
Nilbog, wave to resubscribe. Thank you for the resub, Nilbog. I hope you enjoyed my wave to you there. We're learning about a Selene Delgado, who I guess wasn't a real person, from what I've gathered so far.
Los rostros son construidos artificialmente y simulan ser caras humanas, para generar emociones deseando generar estímulos supernormales.
What the hell?
Alright, it seems bizarre, but they're onto something. At the beginning of the video, Floresita seems to assert the hypothesis that the face of a woman named Selene Delgado, quote, kinetically fits non-human, AI-generated faces using the constant tau. They go forth to explain the uncanny valley and how facial reconstructions cause uneasiness in those that encounter them. Following this, they superimpose various faces with the resulting images off to the right, and among these, Selene's face is shown mashed up with various others. They display a few examples that are, admittedly, eerie, and ultimately argue that the identity of this Selene Delgado is, as Joshua stated, artificial. Now, this is a lot to unpack, but considering that it's something that we haven't looked into prior, I found it worth considering. So, who is Selene Delgado, and how did she become wrapped up in this eerie shroud of urban legend? Throughout the 1990s, there was a TV segment run on Channel 5 in Mexico named Servicio de la Comunidad, or Channel 5 Community Service. As Joshua stated, it was a TV spot that ran between children's cartoons in hopes of spreading the word about various missing persons. The segments, contrary to what we're going to discuss later tonight, actually contain voiceovers giving various details and last locations of missing persons, and at first glance, these are mostly tame. When you really look into it though, the eerie nature of these TV spots stems from when you consider how Channel 5 handled the case of just one person, Selene Delgado. Over the years, her face would reportedly pop up in nearly every Servicio de la Comunidad segment, utilizing this exact same low-quality photo. There were times where they give a bit of background info about her, like the fact that she went missing on April 22nd and was just 18 years old.
Selene Delgado López, de 18 años, se extravió el 22 de abril en la delegación Álvaro Obregón.
But what cemented her case into the minds of thousands of people
Cover up.
came nearly 30 years
They used to do
later.
that when people didn't have photos. So I wonder what this is leading to then.
Time for lunch, munch.
What the hell?
Time for a munch, crunch, crunch.
Well, that was unsettling. Look
It
at the
goes
bunny
without
man.
saying that the videos you're currently viewing are very obviously works of fiction. They were part of a stunt pulled by Channel 5 on their official Twitter page throughout 2019 and 2020. During this time, they were known to upload obscure, eerie videos to their account, only to delete them just hours later.
Oh, really?
It was an antic that ultimately catalyzed their rise to the Twitter trending page on numerous occasions, and also drives home the point that this real-world TV channel is not above messing with you. In the midst of these posts, though, came one that involved a familiar name. This one. Posted after midnight on the 20th of February 2020, we can clearly make out the name Selene. Given that she was what many presumed to be an actual missing person that was constantly broadcasted on a kid's channel over the span of years, it gave birth to a new sort of urban legend that the Floresita Dreams channel was entertaining. the hypothesis that this person is potentially not real. The major argument stems from her missing photo. Many have stated online that it appears common, basic, and fake. This, combined with the lack of any online record that has ever been found about her, has led to a breeding ground of online hearsay, creepypastas, and hoax videos to command the conversation about her. Now, when I stumbled upon this video in my research, I, among many others, had initially assumed that this footage was real. Keeping in mind the other hoaxes and pranks that Channel 5 has played on its viewers, combined with the unconventional nature of these broadcasts being played on a kid's channel, I didn't doubt that they'd pull a prank like this to make her name stick with you. Ultimately though, as is the case with many works of media online, this too was a hoax. But that doesn't discount the weirdness of this story. The way that Channel 5 has and is handling her name makes it seem like she's nothing but a tall tale. And unfortunately, given the nature of the internet, many have run with this notion. Regarding the real case of Celine Delgado, unfortunately nothing has ever come of it. She has, as far as anyone knows, never been found, and her case has sat that way for decades.
Wow.
Personally, I think Celine Delgado, contrary to the rumors online, is indeed a real person. The argument presented about her having a fake face just doesn't seem plausible. Her image is low quality because it was the 90s. Her record likely did exist, but was never digitized. The uncanniness of this image would be exponentially higher if this actually were fake, and it just doesn't make sense for a channel to slip a random fake person in their broadcast that would most likely never have been noticed back then. To me, Celine Delgado was a real person with a story that likely never received any sort of closure, and a person that is now forever wrapped up in the realm of urban legend.
Yeah, I think that's what the theory, like the main theory is, Sabby, is that they added this Celine Delgado just as a way, like, for people to remember the broadcast. They'd keep seeing this face and this name, so they'd remember, you know, this Channel 5 station. I think is what the theory is. Or it could have just been a filler for time as well. Or like Nexpo said, maybe she was a real person. I guess we'll never know.
But, of course, that's just my conjecture.
Uh-oh, tornado warning. Oh no, Sabby.
From the span of April 8th to April 9th, 2015, a devastating superstorm would wreak havoc on much of the central United States. 27 tornadoes ranging from EF0 to EF4 would touch down within the span of just 36 hours, resulting in immense devastation throughout Kansas, Missouri, Texas, Oklahoma, and Illinois. While most of them were rated as an EF1 or lower, by far the most destructive
placeholder. I mean, that makes sense, Sammy.
rural town named Fairdale. Reaching wind speeds of up to 200 miles per hour, this 41-minute storm surge would ultimately become
now another
infamous
tornado.
as one of the worst natural disasters to impact the region in nearly 25 years.
Yeah, natural disasters are the scariest things from these to me, because you just never know when you could get hit by one. And that looks like Ohio right there. The Tempest, exactly. We all know that
On the evening of April
Mr.
9th,
Twister's biggest
an
fear is the
85-year-old man
calm.
named Clarence Schultz had just wrapped up dinner with his wife Geraldine. He was in the other room getting cleaned up when she suddenly called him back into the kitchen.
I agree, Sebby.
Look out the window, she claims. And when he does, Clarence would come face to face with a scene straight out of a nightmare. Immediately, he heads upstairs to grab supplies while she stays behind, and while up there, he pulls out his cell phone to take a quick video. What he was unaware of, though, was that while taking this footage, the tornado wasn't heading away, but rather
Oh,
straight
man.
towards them.
Oh, no. Oh, shit. Get the fuck out of there, dude. What are you doing? Oh my god. Holy fuck. Did he survive that? Yeah, mine is too, Sabby. I hate this shit.
Clarence Schultz didn't make it back to his wife.
Yeah,
but
I assumed.
thankfully, he did make it out of this alive.
Wow.
Geraldine, however, wasn't quite so lucky.
Wait, the
In
one.
the moments following the video,
Really?
the storm destroyed the Schultz home, and Clarence resultingly found himself caught in a pile of rubble. All of a sudden, it kind of got quiet, he recalls. I asked myself, are you dead? No, you can't hurt when you're dead. And I hurt. Geraldine Schultz was one of 2 deaths and 11 injuries that were caused by the events from April 9th. The other, their neighbor and longtime friend named Jacqueline Cloza. Cloza reportedly had a massive fear of spiders, which her daughter claims is why she didn't seek refuge in her own basement.
Sounds like me.
In total, over $19 million in damages were reported, and the aftermath footage embodies the devastation that was left behind. Thankfully, a storm of this magnitude hasn't struck the area since then, and after a grueling, years-long recovery effort, life in Fairdale is mostly back to normal today. For the residents of this small town, though, the scars from that night will remain everlasting. While the incident in Fairdale is just one of hundreds of natural disasters that have happened over the years, the resident stories and the media that accompany them paint a picture that is humbling. It takes you there, in a way, conveying the tragedy that nobody could have predicted. Today, Fairdale stands strong. They are a community that banded together, and while a similar storm hasn't happened since then, they remain vigilant in case something like this ever happens again.
Man. Yeah, I guess a tornado would trump spiders, because if a tornado passed over like a spider nest, it could like fly spiders all over you. And that would be fucking terrible. Ceiling fan.
911, what are you reporting?
Yeah, my house is getting robbed right now.
God, nah, a home invasion now too. I hate those two. I torture myself too, Sabby, trust me.
On December 1st, 2019, in Michigan, a man named Christopher Neal, his wife Haley Coe, and their 2-year-old daughter Charlotte were watching TV at home. The family had just moved here from North Texas, so they were still getting settled in. All things considered, the night was going okay, and nothing was out of the ordinary. At around 10 p.m.,
Spider tornado was never on my radar.
The house, and sounds like an intruder And so Chris heads to investigate while Haley stays behind to call 911. It was at this point when Chris would encounter an unknown man standing near his front door, and immediately, he too calls the authorities. The following audio takes place the moment the call center answered.
911, what is the location of your emergency?
Yes, there's a man in my house right now.
What is, hold on, stop for a second.
Whoa, there's a man in my house.
I need you to give me your address first.
6300 Proctor Avenue.
Is that a house or an apartment?
House at the end of the street. Why are you in my house, bro? Tell me to talk to her. She's on speakerphone. Why are you in my house, though?
What the hell?
Sir, how many other people are in your house?
It's me, my wife, and our daughter.
How old is your daughter?
She's 2.
2? Okay. Do you have any idea who he is?
We do know. No. Let my wife talk to
I
Okay.
know. I'm not gonna harm you guys. All right? I promise. Shake my hand. 140 years old. You can go.
What the hell's going on?
Where is William at right now?
He's standing next to me in my hallway.
Okay, are we still on speakerphone?
We still are. He's right here.
Okay. William.
Yes, ma'am.
William. Okay. Can Christopher and his wife and daughter step outside?
No. Yeah,
What?
I'm not. Ma'am,
What?
they're safe.
They're safe?
They're safe. They're gonna stand right here with me.
What are you doing in their house?
I told you there were shots fired.
Where was shots fired at?
Going on, Old 37, or Old Kentucky,
What's that?
Stop right here with me, man.
No, I ain't going
You're
anywhere.
going there with me, man.
Bro,
Turn lay down, please.
William.
Turn lay down.
William.
Yes, ma'am.
What are you trying to have them do?
He's coming in the room with me. That's it.
Why is he going in the room with you?
why are you locking that door? Don't lock that door, bro.
You all right, man?
What the hell's
I get
going
my word,
on?
Man. You straight.
I get what you're saying, but you got 2 guns, bro.
You're safe.
You got 2 guns?
Stop trying to play crazy, man.
I'm not doing anything. I'm
William.
in my house, man.
I'm sorry, man.
William, listen to me.
Why are you here in the first place?
William, can you listen to me?
Yes, ma'am.
I need you to put those guns down because I've got officers that want to help you. I have officers that want to help you and keep you safe. So I need you to put those guns down.
Who are you, man?
I'm 911. I've got help for you. I need you to put those guns down so that they can get you the help that you need.
I want police here so I can get you safe.
The police are there, William. The police are there.
No, they're not.
They are there.
No, they're not.
They're there. I've got a lot of deputies there.
Look, man, listen. I'm not harming you, I promise.
Why does he sound like Charles Manson?
My life just got threatened, man. I hear you, bro. You understand me?
I hear you.
It got threatened last night.
Okay, I get you, bro.
I'm not harming you, or your children, or your wife.
He does, though. He sounds like Charles Manson.
William.
Yes.
Hey, this is Joe from the Sheriff's Department. How are you, man?
Slide your bad from underneath the door. Don't come through that door.
Okay.
What the
Well, I haven't
hell?
come through the door, man, but I just want to talk to you and find out what's going on.
Don't come through that door. Slide your bad underneath that door, man.
Well, I'm not even up by the door, man. I'm outside the house. Way outside the house.
Stop playing games with me, man.
What's got you all worked up today, man?
Oh, no.
Hello?
Hello?
Is this Christopher?
No. Christopher's dead.
Oh, shit. Oh, fuck.
Contrary to the man's claim, Chris wasn't dead the moment he said it. Minutes later, though, he would be. After hearing the gunfire, police forced their way into the home. During their advancement, 3 officers were shot and would sustain non-life-threatening wounds.
I was like, well, I met him in jail. I got into a little bit, and then I pissed her off. Hey, what's your name, man? Hey, this is Joe out here, okay? Man, we don't want anything bad to happen. We're not gonna hurt you.
Listen! Listen to me, please! Go home! Lock your bag before you hit the door!
Say that again, man?
Once they charged towards the bedroom that Jones was hiding out in, they'd encounter Neil lying on the floor with the bedroom window ajar. Outside of it was Jones trying to flee. However, his efforts were in vain. William Jones ultimately faced 19 felony charges and was accused of killing Christopher Neal and wounding 3 officers. He was reportedly well known in surrounding counties as a thief and home invader, and astonishingly, just 5 days prior to the murder, he was released from jail after serving time for a previous offense. During his arraignment, his defense attorney maintained his innocence, claiming that Jones was running from an attacker that night and ultimately sought refuge in the Neal home. I think the 911 audio speaks for itself. However, it'll ultimately be up to a jury in his eventual trial. Since the incident, Haley Cohn has given birth to the couple's second child and is now raising them alone.
Man.
With this, their oldest daughter will be forever scarred by the loss of her dad that night, and their youngest
Yeah, that's
will never
fucked
know
up.
him. Christopher Neal died protecting his family from a lifelong criminal. And no matter if Jones is sentenced to life in prison with justice served, the Neal family will forever have to live on without a husband and without a father.
Exactly, Baba Boo. That makes no fucking sense.
Average of a missing persons investigation is
not a whole lot to go on, and that is why we need...
Saturday evening, 1989. Central and North America are recovering from a recent Category 5 hurricane. United States President-elect George H.W. Bush is preparing to swear in as the 41st president with just under a week to go. And on Channel 5 up in Chicago, Illinois, an NBC-affiliated news station by the name of WMAQ is wrapping up its nightly programming. In relation to the other two, a news station broadcast keeping up the status quo doesn't seem all that notable or interesting. And to be honest with you, it isn't. Rather, it's what transpired afterwards that's piqued my interest. It's extremely subtle, but after being discovered relatively recently, the footage you're about to watch has opened the door to a mystery that's perplexed a small but growing corner of the internet. Have a look.
This is WMAQ-TV, Channel 5, NBC Television in Chicago. We now leave the air and wish you a pleasant good morning.
It's a rarity that something as simple as a missing notice can fill me with such uneasiness. And I think it's because this TV spot is so obscure. This image is incredibly low quality, and there's effectively nothing to complement it. No height, weight, or age. No information about where they were last seen. No family contacts. No investigative progress reports. No voiceover to fill you in. Absolutely nothing.
Like you said before, Savvy, probably just a placeholder.
Exists as a late-night post-broadcast info screen shown at a time when most viewers likely directed their attention elsewhere. All we're left with is the name Joanna Lopez, a poorly lit photo of her face, and a now-defunct phone number that's been found to lead to the youth division of the Chicago Police Department. Something about the way this was presented just seems off.
Hazy photos of brown people aren't evil, for fuck's sake.
I'm not alone in feeling this way.
$19.90 motherfucking one.
You're watching NBC5 Chicago.
That is
Let me guess, it's
very
gonna be the
difficult.
same picture, right?
Years later, in
Return, tell him Large Marge sent
once
ya.
again broadcast.
Cowabunga do, my homie. What is up? Thank you for the raid,
Davey
my
scores.
friend. Oh, look at this. Davey scores. I'm getting some followers coming in. Uncle Juff, what is up? Thank you for the follow. Rude. Apparently I wasn't following. You know, that's happened to me a lot before where, I swear I've been following people and then it tells me I haven't been. So don't worry about that. You got a shoulder for me, caveman? I got some mayo for that shoulder, if you know what I mean. The first camera was made by Hiffler. That's interesting. We're watching some very disturbing videos from around the internet. Some of them have been legit creepy. Call that the clown paint. That's right. But some of them have just been missing people pictures. And Sabby Lou brought up a good point. Whoop, whoop. Preston Payne, good to see you, homie. But these missing people pictures are from like the early 90s, late 80s. And it's just, people of Hispanic descent. Very low quality.
He whipped his dick out and it didn't faze me. His name is Davey Scorsese. He whipped his dick out and it didn't faze me. His name is Davey Scorsese. It's so fucking big, big, big. It's so motherfucking big, 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 big.
You know it.
Oh my god. What do you mean, what the fuck? I told you, all of these songs will probably be boner related.
That is some free advertising from my good friend, Mr. Twister. Why did you have to use that emote, Savvy? I'm sure everybody in here knows Mr. Twister, but if you don't, go to that link, buy some Bandcamp songs. I should make a Sabby command with your Bandcamp as well, Sabby Lou Sounds. I think I'll do that for the next stream. I'd prove it, but I don't want to make Mr. Twister look like a liar. So we'll just keep saying that he ain't wrong. But anyways, yeah, the last couple things have been these missing people pictures from like the late 80s, early 90s that no one's ever found. And like Sabby said, they're probably just placeholders, so the station doesn't have to play an ad. But they're very low quality, very off, unsettling looking. And Sabby was making the point that cameras were made for white people, and that could be true. But I've seen some pictures, mainly my own, probably because of my face, that are pretty unsettling as well. But anyways, that's what we're getting into.
In a strikingly similar and
Let's see what's going to happen here.
Joanna's missing notice would be played once more.
So the last time this was shown, 1989. This is in 1991. The same picture, same name, same number.
Considering the blink and you'll miss it nature of the notice this time, it too fell on deaf ears. There was, again, no supporting info about her. No updates that might have
I think
cropped
those
up
are all
in the
very
prior
good
2
pictures,
years.
Sammy.
Still no age, height, weight, nothing. Just this obscure photo with the word missing plastered on top of it. Given how long it was since the last update,
You do have like 4 different shades. You are
search,
correct in that
I was beginning to see
aspect.
that the chances of finding Joanna were dwindling as the days went by.
Hi, Mrs. Fresh. How are you doing?
And to date, not a single other update had ever come of this. Joanna Lopez has presumably never been found.
Probably because she doesn't really exist. And like you said, that was a placeholder, Sabby Lou. I agree with your theory. Throughout the 2000s and 2010s, discussion about Joanna Lopez is scattered across the internet. Y'all missed like the home invader that straight up murdered a dude and got off scot-free because he said he was fleeing from an attacker.
In late 2020 and into 2021, Joanna's mysterious missing notice would finally be shared to Reddit. 2 posts are known to have spearheaded the conversation, one by a Luke Inspire, and another by a
2 were the
Chris
same day,
Polygon.
wow.
While Luke Inspires came first, I wanted to focus on Chris's, as this one prompted the most discussion. Simply titled, The Very Obscure Disappearance of Joanna Lopez. Their post in Unresolved Mysteries outlines most of what we've already touched on so far. They go forth to claim that they have looked through various missing persons resources, however have found absolutely no information about her. Considering this is a subreddit devoted to discussing the unsolved, others quickly chimed in with theories on what they think might have happened. I think she was a runaway and was found pretty quick. Maybe she ran away again in 1991 and they used the same picture. 1989 and 1991 are not that far apart, and if she was in foster care, I doubt they had up-to-date pictures of her. Such a strange case. Wow, this one is strange. I found the number listed here as the Youth Division of the Chicago Police Department. So, on the face of it, the number is in fact legit. I don't have the guts to call it, but it's there. Sounds like she escaped some kind of juvenile detention
3
or
years.
probation. If it weren't for
Thanks,
the
Sabby. You
reappearance
know
of the
there's
photo 2
juggalos
years
in the
later,
chat, so
I'd be inclined to believe that's exactly what
thanks for
happened.
pointing out the math
But
on
then
that.
she was found and returned with her case never having a chance to escalate to federal involvement. The fact that it aired again in 1991, however, makes me think she was never found, and in the pre-internet days, her case simply slipped through the cracks. I hope I'm wrong.
Oh, you did it for yourself.
Throughout all of these, though, one comment stood out among the others. Posted by a Proud Evening Star. They claimed
I don't
the
know,
following.
K-Man. Sometimes I come after a
Came
number
across
2.
this post late last night, and it creeped me out so much that I couldn't sleep for a while.
Just depends
It
on how
really
good
is
it
so
is.
sad to think that a person can slip through the cracks like that and seemingly vanish altogether. I've been scouring the Doe network for unidentified Jane Does in and around the Chicago area all morning, and the only possible case I could find is from 1994. Here.
Pee on the
I
poo
really
and
hope
come on
we
the
can
poo,
find
huh?
closure on this. My heart breaks for her. Interesting.
That was
Heading to
bright.
that link presents us with a Jane Doe, 276 UFIL. She was found deceased in an alleyway, naked from the waist down. It goes
Damn.
without saying that our working evidence is tenuous. However, lining up this photo with that of Joanna Lopez, while considering the time and location in which she was found, postulating that this woman is Joanna isn't out of the realm of possibility. I've done some digging on various missing persons from around the time period, and have also come up short with results. There are quite a few from around Illinois. However, their dates of discovery don't quite line up with the 2 missing broadcasts. It seems to me that Proud Evening Star has found the most plausible visual match out of nearly all the 1990s Jane Does from the area. But even this leaves us with much to be desired.
I'm with you, Sabby. Like,
at the end of the day,
kids these
the
days
case
think
of
everything's
Joanna
like a big
Lopez
conspiracy.
is one that is undoubtedly haunting. Barring how obscure the photo itself is, the lack of information, the visuals that accompanied the broadcast, and the fact that there is virtually no discussion or record about her ever existing aside from this brief video archive online, this case is enveloped in absolute mystery. I implore you to join the discussion in finding this girl, and if you know or remember anything about her, myself and countless others are all ears about it. In the worst case scenario, we won't get anywhere and this mystery will remain. But the best case, reaching any sort of closure, that is what I'm aiming for.
Interesting. See, I don't think they can use DNA because
The internet harbors a vast abyss
if they
of
never
content
found the
that is
girl in the
perplexing,
first place,
intriguing, and immensely haunting.
like there's no way to really match the
A
DNA
community
with
thriving
someone
off
who's
sharing
never been
derelict
found.
areas around the world. An internet urban legend that engulfed the name of someone who
Right,
has never been
Sabby?
found. An
You better hope
unforeseen
you weren't
natural
blinking.
disaster that wreaked havoc on a community.
Yeah,
A
we're in the early
911
90s
call
as
in
well.
the midst of a home invasion, and a missing persons broadcast that never found a resolution. Thank you so much for tuning in to this special Halloween edition of Disturbing Things from Around the Internet. I hope you all enjoyed this, and if you have any eerie discoveries that you'd like to share for a future installment, feel free to fill out my new tip line or shoot me an email at dtfaisubmissions@gmail.com.
I'm down to fuck with
Once
some AI.
again, thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. I love you all.
Okay,
happy Halloween.
We got one more. The Darkest Lost Media. Wait, why does it start in the middle of it? Here we go. Alright, last one. Let's see if this is creepy.
On April 25th, at this bus stop, one boy, 15 years old, shot and killed a 17-year-old boy with a revolver.
WXLT TV, Channel 40, Sarasota, Bradenton.
Lost media is a topic that I have been enamored by for years.
Hainesdale, there
It
wasn't any
has
camera
surprisingly
phones or
not
anything
formally
back then.
gotten
There'd be
into.
no Uncle Joe.
The thought of disturbing TV broadcasts, audio, and VHS
that girl was
footage
actually kinda
that have
hot,
been lost to
actually.
time is fascinating, and the links that people go to find them is incredible. So much dark and disturbing content has existed even before the internet, and the aim of this series is to dive into them, their search, and their stories, because, as it turns out, some of the darkest lost media out there seems to have always existed.
That's right. Three's in the chat for Dale. Four is two. The devil hidden within them. Oh, we just passed Easter, but hey.
The following
It's
is a
gonna be about some
presentation of the
scary
Christian
Christians.
Television Network.
Oh man. The Joy Junction, baby. Choo-choo!
Come and join us for a half hour of fun and games at Joy Junction. Now here's Sheriff Don.
These shows always creep me out. These type of shows.
The show is broadcasting on the Christian
Christian
television
puppet
network
shows
named
are-
Joy Junction. It's textbook public access TV, set at the eponymous village and hosted by the town sheriff.
Everyone should get to
Throughout the
clap
show's
like you.
lifespan,
How did you know?
the town
Who have you been
residents would
talking
join
to,
in for
caveman? Oh,
educational
everyone
bits
should
about the
clap
Bible,
like you.
and kids
Okay,
were
yeah, they
encouraged to
should.
take part in various
I don't have the
games.
clap.
It seemed to have been pretty successful during its time, as it was on the air for a few years. Bizarrely, nearly every record and archive of this show ever existing have been wiped though, merely leaving us with a handful of surviving re-uploads on YouTube.
Oh, come on, we can
This
allow
has
pedos.
admittedly made it difficult to find any further information about Joy Junction, aside from
Yeah.
what we can distill from the existing footage. But that's okay, because
That
that's
is
not
true,
the main reason
caveman.
we're here anyway.
Let's see what's going on with he gave me a standing
everybody,
ovation.
what's happening? Hey, Ron, good to see you. Oh, and I've been waiting and waiting and waiting on you. Oh, I'm sorry I got tied up, Marty, but traffic was heavy and the stores were busy. You know how it is.
I hate these
One of the
puppet
show's
shows.
cast members was a ventriloquist by the name of Ron, and he was present in nearly every episode, joined by his doll Marty.
come back.
And I bet that's not the only thing he's had his, whose ass he's had his hand up, right?
I told you I would come back, didn't I?
Standing ovulation.
Yeah. And I'm
Typically, they'd have a quick conversation about whatever the topic of the day was, and it, at least in the surviving archives, appeared to serve as a bridge between two segments of the show. Ron's full name was Ronald Brown, and in the years following the show's eventual end, he'd launch his own puppeteering company out of Florida called Puppets Plus.
Oh, God.
On his website at puppetsplus.com,
that ain't chocolate.
Out of their clients, along with the age groups that he was primarily hired for. Ages 2 to 5 and 6 to 11.
Ah, yes, definitely a
At first
pedophile.
glance, this seems par for the course in his profession. Children's entertainment was his forte. However, it's when we back up and take a look at Ronald as a person when things begin to sour. You see, throughout the years, Ronald had a strange dynamic with children.
Oh, I bet
For
he did.
instance, in 1998, he was pulled over for a traffic violation and was found to be in possession of boys' underwear.
Oh,
his excuse
God.
was that he used them for his puppets, and he was eventually let off. Other complaints came throughout the 2000s about him giving rides to kids in his church van. Unfortunately, police could never do much because there wasn't any explicit crime being committed. It was incredibly strange, but unfortunately not enough to warrant any sort of arrest. Where things really get nutty, though, is when we jump to the early 2010s, in which Brown would find himself.
Exactly, like, why would they buy that? Well, in case my puppet shits himself. AOL Instant Messenger, alright. It's a good question, Caveman. I had both, Uncle Jeff. I was bisensual. I used both Yahoo and AIM.
In May of 2012, a man
wish I
named
had-
Michael Arnett
Wait, what'd that
was
say?
arrested after a
Tied
sting
and gagged in
operation.
the closet.
He was charged with the production of, and upon searching his home and computer, they would find
Child
chat logs on
pornography.
Yahoo Messenger between he and a person going by the name U.E. Lime.
What the fuck?
As it turned out, Arnett would produce these images and distribute them to various others online from the username CK3666, Sweet Talker Linda, and Calf Keeper 2. You'll notice that U.E. Lime was outward about their desires. They expressed interest in cannibalism, torture, sexual assault, and all of it was
Oh my
directed towards
God.
children, even as young as 2. The catch here, though, is that U.E. Lime wasn't just a random person.
He was a
It
priest.
Ronald Brown, his secret online alias in which he'd express his fantasy about the kids he surrounded himself with daily.
I
Let me
knew it, he
remind
was a
you
puppeteer.
that this was a man whose entire career, entire life, was centered around associating with kids. Someone who was, at one point, on television in front of thousands. To say that these chat logs were a bad look would be putting it lightly. And yes, the messages you're seeing are straight out of the official case file.
Oh my God. Fucking. Ugh. Slice that motherfucker.
After corresponding with Yahoo.com, authorities were able to track down Ronald Brown and tie his username to a profile on a necrophilia
Oh, it was
website
Yahoo
named cutedeadguys.net.
Messenger.
Ronald's profile has been lost to time. However, through his own case report, we're able to find details describing it. On this site, his bio read, "I love them young and dead. I enjoy them fresh, but like to see them
Oh
displayed in their casket too."
What the fuck is wrong with people?
And a few snippets from his post history. "I like the blonde boy. Would love to snuff him. Very hot pics. That boy looks dead. I like that one. I'd love to kill them." It's safe to say that at this point, there was more than enough to warrant an arrest.
Yeah.
And on July 19th of 2012,
all right, my birthday,
that mission would finally become a reality.
Well, I didn't even know it, but that's the best birthday present I could ask for.
Arrested a Largo man for possessing and conspiring to kidnap a child. They say he was a puppeteer who performed for children in the Bay Area. News Channel 8's Yolanda Fernandez has been following this story for us. She is joining us live tonight from Pinellas County.
Well, Keith, 57-year-old Ron Brown is here in the Pinellas County Jail tonight. Federal investigators say it was his gruesome and very graphic online chats with the
Brown's house was raided, and scattered across his home were images of pictures of kids being tied up, and even some that appeared to be dead. Furthermore, agents found CDs with much of the same material, a blow-up sex doll dressed in boys' clothes, a journal he kept about his fantasies dating back to 1978, and even books about serial killers and cannibalism. He was eventually found guilty of possession of and was sentenced to 20 years in federal prison with a lifetime of supervision thereafter.
Can you not say child pornography on YouTube?
He would be out sometime in 2033.
Guess I'll find out.
However, as of August of 2020, it's reported that he is now deceased.
Yeah, Uncle Jeff called it.
My heart goes out to the children who had to suffer for the pleasure of this monster and all of those who associated with him. For his entire life, he was calculated and knew what he was doing. His career, his church van favors, his company parties, all a front for some of the darkest desires imaginable.
But you know, it's the drag queens that are
I understand
grooming
why
our
Joy
kids.
Junction's records were wiped. It was a show with a good premise and good intentions. I won't deny that. However, now bears a reputation forever stained by the devil, hidden within them.
Fucked up.
Before we continue,
if I was into that, oh yeah, I would kill myself
First
instantly.
off, I'd like to formally announce my second channel, called Nexpo After Hours. Here, I aim to bring you guys analytical
That
videos
sounds like some
about
music to
smaller
get down
web series
to.
and horror video games. Currently, I have an upload about a smaller creepy web series, and I'll be dropping the next one in about 5 minutes from now. So, if you're into that sort of thing, I welcome you with open arms. It's a big creative outlet for me, and we're gonna have some fun. If you're not, however, no sweat. We still got the big projects on Main.
Wow, check out that Nexpo
New merch
After
is now
Hours.
available at crowdmade.com/collection/Nexpo. We've got some super cool new designs if you're interested.
Hey, you should
Link in
check
the
out
description.
Nexpo on YouTube if you haven't.
Lastly,
I love his
if you're
channel.
interested in gaining early access to videos,
So free
script
free
files,
advertisement
and
for you,
work-in-progress
Nexpo.
cuts of upcoming projects.
Play
Your
chicken on
support
foot with
would mean the
semis.
world
That's a
to
good
me
idea.
Over at patreon.com/Nexpo. Of course, it's never expected, but always appreciated as I try to keep these videos sponsor-free.
Wow, music just makes me want to get down. Ladies. Okay, second tape. A Legacy of Tragedy. Oh, shit. Noah's Ark.
The year is 1928, and a romantic disaster film about Noah's Ark hits theaters.
Yeah, sure.
Directed by a man named Michael Curtis, it premieres during a transitional period between silent movies and talkies.
Excuse me.
Films with actual spoken dialogue. Because of this,
Yeah, the
it's mostly
talkies.
regarded as a hybrid film with long scenes being played over music, and with it comes a healthy dose of extensive criticism. Most of the backlash is due to its runtime, clocking in at a whopping 2 hours and 15 minutes long, with considerable portions containing awkward dialogue and drawn-out scenes. Sitting through this movie is, to put it lightly, a considerable undertaking.
Whoa.
Because of this, the film is pulled for revision, and the cut content is never shown again. A good portion of the cut footage came from what the movie is mostly known for today, and that's the flood scene.
Uh-oh.
In it, we can observe a slew of actors fighting their way out of a crumbling temple and towards the Ark to stay alive. It's a grandiose set with a lot going on, and keeping in mind the time period, all of this was pulled off with practical effects. These people were, legitimately, submerged.
Holy shit.
Some might consider the acting here to be pretty well done. Like I said, this scene is grand, and due to the time period, was all pulled off practically. The thing is, some of these actors weren't actually acting, as during this scene, 3 actors drowned and 1 reportedly lost their leg.
Wow.
This was the result of over 600,000 gallons of water being dumped across the set, something that the film's extras were reportedly unaware of. It's been reported that, before filming commenced, Michael Curtiz was warned against putting so many people in danger.
They just don't make them like they used to, I tell ya.
Claiming that the extras were expected to be prepared for anything, and that, quote, they're just gonna have to take their chances. In the original cut of the movie, it's rumored that you could see these deaths happen on screen with a much more fleshed out flood scene. However, since the revisions, that original version is forever considered lost. It's rumored that Curtiz was in pursuit of relentless perfection. He wanted his movie to be grand and authentic. However, in this chase came a loss of life that did not need to happen, leaving Noah's Ark forever stained with an enduring legacy of tragedy.
Not cool. That's not how you direct a film. I'm telling you, that's not how you do it.
Searching for a website, a window to the world, got to get online. Take the spin.
I'm a Scorsese, damn it. Yes, I'm sure. I mean, they, like I said, they don't make them like they used to.
An ad was made on Craigslist.
Is it a sucking fuck ad?
An old girl named Brooke Slocum, and was but a simple request for cash.
I need $50 by 3:30 p.m. today. I can pay you back later tonight, but I need gas and some mess quick. Everyone has bronchitis at my house and I do not want to get sick. I'm 8 months pregnant and my lungs are all squished as is. If you could help, me and my daughter will greatly appreciate it.
He is like the OG Alec Baldwin.
Remained untouched for 10 days. At 10:08 p.m. on the night of July 12th, Slocum receives an email from a man going by the name
Mike's Hard. Whoa.
I can host. What are you thinking? I'm 25. This was a reply to other, separate ads that Brooke made around the same time period, in which she would solicit sex for money. According to her friends, it wasn't willingly, as her then boyfriend, 25-year-old Charles Oppenheer, would coerce her to do this while accompanying her during these meetups. Reluctant, Slocum responds 20 minutes later.
Well, we're looking for donations if possible. Kinda in a tight spot, and we have a baby on the way. As far as the fund goes, though, there won't be any mail.
How does $120 sound? I can drive you over here if you need.
No, we can travel, just can't host is all. When and where would you like to meet up?
I like to fuck outside in a park around 11:30. That okay?
I like to fuck in a park.
I don't know. I don't want to get in trouble for indecent exposure or anything. I can't go to jail being 8 months pregnant.
It's cop-free. It's a park, but behind it there are lots of woods. No cops at all. This last email arrived at 10:59 p.m., and as we can see, Mike's Hard was keen on meeting that same night.
I'd say he was hard.
Needless to say, Slocum ended up accepting, and their trip to Gazon Park in Wyoming, Michigan.
Try this lemonade, you'll love it. Wait, what is this? Is that Mike's Hard? Wow, he looks like a keeper.
It's midnight. The couple arrives, with Mike pulling up shortly after. Initially believing this to be another sex meetup, the two approach Mike without much concern. Sometime during the next few minutes, Brooke is grabbed, bound and shoved into the trunk of Mike's car. In haste, Charles tries to help, however is unsuccessful, resulting in a violent altercation between the two. It's unclear how long this fight lasted. However, what is certain is that during this, Charles was violently killed.
Jesus.
Mike drags his body near the woods, saws his head off, and covers the remains with sticks.
Holy shit.
And without so much of a single witness, he jumps in his car, and alongside Charles' head and Brooke Slocum stowed behind him, drives off into the night.
Holy fuck.
After realizing that Oppenhier's car had not moved in days, police began probing on his whereabouts. When asked, his parents drummed up nothing, his work nothing. No one knew where he was, but his car was there. And so they began searching the park on July 17th, 5 days after the incident with Mike's Hard. Upon scouring the wooded area that lined its back end, they then discover a headless body under some brush. And it was later identified as Charles Oppenhier. In the coming hours, it was realized that Oppenhier wasn't single, and his girlfriend, too, was missing. In haste, authorities obtained a search warrant for her apartment and began searching her laptop. On it, there were a myriad of conversations. However, one thread from Mike's Hard stood out among the rest. The Internet Crimes Against Children unit was called in for analysis on the real name behind the alias, and they found that this address was tied to another email, which was tied to a Facebook for a man not named Mike.
I don't think I think Mike's Hard was the guy that they met up with at the park. Yeah, and the boyfriend came along with the girl, and I think that's what you're trying to ask. I think that other dude was Mike's Hard.
But Brady.
Probably Kyle.
Brady Ostrike.
Nope, Brady. Sounds about right.
They stake out near his home while they await a search warrant. There wasn't enough evidence for an arrest warrant by this point, so that was a frustrating roadblock. The hours tick by without much happening. However, around 9 p.m. on the night of July 17th, Brady would be spotted jumping into his car and leaving his home. A few moments later, he's stopped by a nearby officer. Before they could get to him, though, he takes off, leading to a grueling pursuit. Eventually, he loses control and crashes into a cement barrier.
Oh, shit.
As the officers pull up for apprehension, however, he on the head and falls forth to his death.
He killed himself. Trying to run a Chevy Cobalt, yeah.
A few seconds later, police approach and search his vehicle. In it was 31-year-old Brady Ostrike, dead in the front seat. And in the trunk, stuffed within a suitcase, was 18-year-old Brooke Slocum and her unborn daughter, both of whom were deceased.
Holy fuck.
Upon searching Ostrike's home shortly after, they discovered a plethora of ropes, knives, swords, cages, straps, and bizarre writings that make little to no sense at all. His toilet was inoperable, and the entire place was nothing short of rancid.
Good lord.
Most interesting of all, however, was the discovery of cameras. As it turned out, he had them all over his home so he could document his actions. And what you're seeing here is Ostrike as he prepares the basement he kept Slocum in for those agonizing 5 days.
Like most serial killers.
Now, there exists footage of Brady Ostrike's
I don't think I want to know,
torture
Uncle Jeff, why his white blanket is black.
You'll never see it. The police department has gone on record to say that they will never release it, however describe it as something straight out of a nightmare. During the time Slocum was captive, and even when police were right outside the home, she was locked in handcuffs with a chain around her neck. Reportedly, Ostrike had bound her arms to the ropes hanging from the ceiling and left her dangling while he sexually assaulted and tortured her before strangling her to death.
Fuck.
All of this was captured on film. Years later, Oppenier's head was found off some back roads, 17 miles north of Gizon
I
Park.
ruined Chips Ahoy, I know.
It's a chilling end to a disturbing online saga, and really drives home the fact that you really don't know who it is you're meeting with on Craigslist, dating apps, OfferUp, what have you, until you actually come face to face. What began as a simple request for just $50 had led to the loss of 3 lives following a days-long nightmare orchestrated by a depraved man. The torture footage is, as of 2022, considered indefinite lost media that may never see the light of day. However, considering what exactly it entails, I don't think we'd really want it to.
Yeah, I don't think I'd want to see that. Oh yeah, I'm sure the cops have them somewhere, Uncle Jeff, but
Coast is the one, Coast Federal.
We'll probably never see him.
Win Armstrong
for Coast Federal.
WXLT TV, Channel 40, Sarasota, Bradenton.
We're with you on ABC with you.
The year is 1972, and a reporter named Christine Chabuk eagerly lands a job at WXLT Channel 40 in Sarasota, Florida. Initially hired as a reporter, she was reassigned to a spot named Suncoast Digest, a local affairs segment that ran at 9 a.m. every Saturday. During her time there, she'd become attracted to a fellow reporter named George Ryan and would seek his attention by baking him cakes and expressing a desire to hang out. When she realized that he was already romantically involved with another coworker, however,
you bitch.
It was detrimental to her self-image, as Christine historically had difficulty finding love. According to her family, she'd go on dates with various men throughout the years, however had trouble connecting socially with them. On top of this, by 1973, Chabuk underwent surgery to have one of her ovaries removed, and as a result, her doctors began to pressure her, claiming that if she wasn't able to conceive within 2 to 3 years thereafter, she may never be able to.
The following program is brought to you in living color on NBC.
Super spy Fred Flintstone is off on the trail of the mysterious green goose, a master of
Tonight we begin with the death of a man armed with scissors. He was shot by police 24 times.
Do something. Get him to do something about the problem. Meantime, they say they're going to back the leafleting up with a meeting this Friday with city and state officials.
Good evening. More than 100 people were reported dead in a plane crash near New York's Kennedy Airport this afternoon. The plane was an Eastern Airlines...
Anything good in the news today?
As 1974 approached, Chubbuck witnessed a shift in news methodology. Christine always had a desire to pursue what she believed to be high-impact stories about issues affecting the community. However, WXLT executives were leaning more towards stories that were juicier, per se, utilizing fear and sensationalism to drive viewership, in turn generating revenue. The news she was tasked with reporting began to shift further and further towards spectacle and shock, and she frequently rallied against this to no avail. Resultingly, she became stuck in a mindset, in a world that she was growing to hate. Her professional life, her personal life, everything around her.
She didn't kill herself on air, did she, or something like that? Why do I have a feeling that's what that's leading to?
Good evening, I'm Steve Newman, and this is Channel 40 Weather Watch. It's going to be even cooler tonight than tomorrow night than tonight. The reason for this, with the passage of the cold front today, when we picked up some showers, skies have cleared very nicely. And as a result...
On the 15th of July, 1974, Christine enthusiastically entered the station. Instead of opening Suncoast Digest traditionally, however, she claimed that there was a newscast she had to read to open
that is a shitty green
something
screen.
that hadn't been done hitherto. She takes her seat at the news desk, and for the first 8 minutes, opens her segment about 3 national news stories and a shooting that took place the day prior. Following this, a film reel of the shooting was supposed to play, but had jammed, leaving a few moments of dead air. In response, Christine apologized for the error before taking out a script she had handwritten and reading to the viewers.
Oh no.
Substantially to those statistics. This weekend, being typical of the recent rash of violence, saw one man stabbed, another assaulted, and a third shot and wounded. Sarasota police report the finding of an 18-year-old, a man by the name of David Wynn, in the parking lot of a Friendly Tavern on 27th Street. Wynn had an apparent stab wound in the chest, which, according to witnesses, was inflicted by James Whitworth during a fight. Police charged Whitworth with aggravated assault. Wynn is in satisfactory condition at Sarasota Memorial Hospital. The second attempted armed robbery in a week has involved law enforcement officers from both Sarasota and Manatee counties. Last week, teenage gunmen held up the highway bar and, after a shootout and high-speed automobile chase, held a family hostage and finally were nabbed by Sarasota Sheriff's deputies. Early Sunday morning, the Beef and Bottle restaurant north of Sarasota Bradenton Airport on US 41 was the site of an attempted armed robbery and shooting. TV40 newsman Bob Peterson was on the scene shortly after it began, and he filed this report. Sorry, for those of you who saw Late Night Weekend News Watch last night, we did have a film report and a commentary by Bob Peterson. Unfortunately, we had technical difficulties and cannot bring it to you now. However, News Watch tonight at 5:30, and we'll have that story for you then. As of this morning, Grace Foster, who was shot in that incident, is in satisfactory condition at Sarasota Memorial Hospital. In keeping with the WXLT practice of presenting the most immediate and complete reports of local blood and guts news, TV40 presents what is believed to be a television first. In living color, exclusive coverage of an attempted suicide.
Oh, shit. She did.
At this moment, Christine drew a Smith & Wesson revolver that she had hidden in her bag, placed it behind her right ear, and fired, immediately falling forward onto her desk. In a frantic response, the tech directors quickly faded the broadcast to black and scrambled to play a movie thereafter. Calls began to flood in, with viewers questioning
that gave
the
me
authenticity
chills.
of what they
Like,
just
no
witnessed, with some believing that this was just a morbid joke or a prank. However, it was far from it. She was rushed to Sarasota Hospital, and back at the station, the news director, Mike Simmons, had discovered 2 pages of a script left behind by her. The first page contained what we heard prior, however the second was a follow-up intended to be read by a third party. Today, Christine Chibuk during a live broadcast. She was rushed to Sarasota Memorial Hospital, where she remains in critical condition.
Wow.
Surprisingly, Christine's prediction turned out to be correct, not only because she was at that very hospital, but because she remained in critical condition for 14 hours until her eventual death. Christine's body was cremated and spread in the Gulf of Mexico, marking the end of a life full of despair. To those around her and to her loved ones, however, an agonizing void was left that would forever go unfilled. Reportedly, only one tape of this incident existed and was kept by Bob Nelson, the station's owner. After his death, his wife Molly would inherit it before handing it over to a law firm for good. As of now, this is where it lies, and for the foreseeable future, may never see the light of day.
Damn. Oh. Yeah, I don't like how that felt either, Uncle Jeff.
We will return after these messages.
That has me feeling some kind of way, I'm not gonna lie.
To preface this last entry, I'd like to state from the outset that the following could be absolutely nothing. The answer could be completely mundane. However, the footage in this section has personally stood out to me because of how bizarrely out of place it is and how little info there is about it. I was gonna put it in the next disturbing things. However, I think it fits better here. Let us begin. It's the 1980s.
Beetlejuice.
Beetlejuice makes its debut. Journey, Survivor, Guns N' Roses, and our favorite Rick Astley are on the airwaves. And over on a stand-up comedy show named An Evening at the Improv, a child actor turned musician named Corey Feldman is world premiering his latest track.
Oh God, have I become Melvin Troy? This is disturbing.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to start the show off tonight a bit differently than usual. What I'm going to do is I'm going to world premiere my song that I just finished writing and producing with Michael Damian from my new movie, Dream a Little Dream, with Jason Robards. It's called Something in Your Eyes. I'm going to do it right now.
Well, I'm more disturbed by this than the last video. Yikes.
As we can see, he had a mixed reaction from the audience. Clearly lip-syncing and taking inspiration from Michael Jackson, he employs dance moves in a musical style that attempts to emulate them. Upon looking through comments about him on YouTube, it's clear that history hasn't exactly been kind to Feldman. But that's beside the point. The reason I bring this video up in the first place is because, towards the song's end, Feldman's producer makes an incredibly strange cutaway to something that is very out of place for a video like this. Have a look.
You shouldn't have let it go. You should have held on. Stop running.
What the fuck? A girl with her titties out tied to a pool table?
What is this? And why is it here? Nowhere in this song does Feldman make any sort of mention about a woman being bound to a pool table. And after performing a cursory scan of his other music videos, cutaways like this never happen again. This seems eerily out of place, and discussion about this is painstakingly few and far between. The only mentions I could find about it were from Reddit and a few YouTube comments. However, none of them garnered much attention, and their sources are pretty much non-existent. With that being said, let's circle back to the footage so we can break it down ourselves.
It's like crucifix. Oh, what the fuck?
As we can see, the video of this woman was patched in post-production. Unlike the other cutaways that happened prior, this one has a different border. It's in black and white, and seems to be slightly lower quality than his music video. In the footage, we have a woman with brown or black hair tied up on each corner of the pool table, is in what appears to be a small room with a swinging light above her, and seems to be moving because of discomfort. To me, this footage could be one of three things. Either it's a scene from an obscure movie, a cut of a film, or it could be from a legitimate film. Personally, I believe it's one of the first two, given how obvious this cutaway is on something that's been seen by hundreds, if not thousands of people. If this were truly as sinister as it's been rumored, it would be a pretty stupid move to put it there. Regardless, this cutaway is one of the weirdest edits I have ever seen, and I'm still struggling to drum up a reason as to why it's there in the first place. I'm curious if you know anything about this, if you've seen it before, if you've heard about it, anything. This is a weird little mystery, and this is where I'm calling for your help.
I wonder if Melvin Troy knows anything about that.
Who is the woman on the table?
Melvin Troy is a big fan of the Feld dog.
Even apart from the internet, the world is dark. So many pieces of media.
A real victim? You think so, Uncle Jeff?
And in this series, I aim to document and bring those back to light.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Thank you so much for joining me in this first installment.
A lot of fucked up shit in Hollywood.
I truly appreciate each and every one of you for taking the time out of your day to watch my videos, and I truly apologize for the delay on this one. I had to completely rework a section due to copyright issues, so it set me back pretty badly. Nonetheless, I really hope you guys like this. I made this series with the goal of it standing toe-to-toe with disturbing things in terms of quality, and I'm thrilled to keep this going if you would have me. That said, if you have any creepy suggestions for future installments for this series, and even disturbing things from around the internet, feel free to shoot me an email at dtfaisubmissions@gmail.com. Thank you again for watching. I'll see you on the next one. I love you all. And good night.
And that's all the disturbing videos of that series for now. So, that's where I'm going to end it. Hopefully Nexpo will come out with some new content to check out in the future. Like I said, follow Nexpo on YouTube if you haven't already, because it's a really good channel to follow. I enjoy it quite a lot. A lot of interesting stuff on there. Thanks everybody who came in. Thank you, Cowabunga Dude, for the raid. Thank you to the new followers, people who resubbed. Yeah, his name's Nexpo on YouTube. Nexpo, just like that. Actually, I'll put the link to his YouTube in the chat right now. Yeah, there's the link to his YouTube channel. I think I'm going to go ahead and raid out to Keegan the Creep, actually. He's still going strong. Yeah, right? Good luck sleeping after those. Keegan's still got his subathon going strong. So let's go ahead and hop on over and show some pal love to Keegan the Creep. It ain't called the Midnight Macabre for nothing, Baba Booey. You know, it started off as just horror video games, and now we dove into some real fucked up shit. "13 beers, about to shotgun the last 2. Holy shit. Sounds like a good time. We'll send those shotguns on over to Keegan. And I love you all. I'll see you next time. Mm.